right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Axel1324.
And I'm CoolCatTerri.
And I'm the resident guest, DREADPOOL.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, what a good morning. It is August 13th, middle of August already, man. Starfield's only about, 15, 16 days away? Cannot wait. What about you, Terry? Can you keep waiting?
I didn't even know it was like 16 days away because I'm not paying attention to it. I don't know. For some reason, I keep thinking it's coming out in like holidays.
No, it's coming out soon. DREADPOOL won't get his Starfield in 16 days. He'll get it like in 18 days.
No, I you know, what's funny is, you would think that I'm not that interested in it, but one of the last preview showcase videos, whatever you want to call it, got me to buy the expansion, not the expansion, but the upgrade, the collector's edition upgrade, I guess it would be called. And I did get the okay. What was it, a month ago or so that we talked about?
Yeah,
it feels like weeks ago for me because I'm sorry, I've been away, but probably a couple months ago, more reasonably, when you ordered 2 of the collections.
Yeah,
So
well, I only ordered it in case one doesn't deliver.
Yeah, but in case they both deliver, I had already claimed the other one.
That's right, dibs.
So, yeah, dibs already here. So yeah, for someone that's not interested in it and paying for the whatever the upgrade is, so that way I don't have to.
$300 for the upgrade, and then the upgrade is what, $30? It
was $30. Yeah. So. Yeah, not interested, but not broke interested because of it.
They're not interested. Wow. Imagine how much money he would spend if he was interested, everybody. No, that collector's edition, that Constellation edition, I cannot wait.
Well, it's going to be fun to wear the watch and play the game.
That's right.
That's the only reason.
Man, I would be afraid of that cheap, band breaking on that thing.
Whoa. It's not cheap. It's Bethesda. You're telling me they would send you a cheap sack instead of a Walmart bag instead of a burlap sack that they promised?
They probably got like a 2-cent wristband on that watch that's going to break. Putting it out there, man. I'd handle with care, man. Handle with care. That's why they need that's why they invested so much money in the case, because they know that thing is delicate.
That'd be so funny. Oh my God. It's biodegradable.
Yeah, and here's the funny part, right? I still have the controller sitting next to me.
Yeah, the controller's so
in
sweet.
The box
I cannot wait.
Still, I'm like, I want to unbox it. But
yeah. Crazy Greek Dude says, I got the $35 upgrade yesterday for Starfield with the Steelbook and DLC. The Steelbook, I cannot wait, man. I love Steelbooks. I wish all games came in Steelbooks. Personally. Seeing as they're not even including CDs anymore, at least the Steelbooks are art.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The same thing was, at least with the Steelbooks, they look really good. It's not just a flimsy plastic case that can break and this and that. They get dented, but those that collect that
they
are
can
not going to let that
too,
happen.
If you accidentally spill something and you don't clean it, they can rust.
I found so I go yard selling a lot, and I found in a yard sale a Gears of War 3 Steelbook, but it was in such bad condition. All the art, like, it had goop on it, so I cleaned the goop off it, but the art came off with it. So now it's just like a blank Steelbook. I'm like,
hope you didn't pay much for that.
It was like 5 cents. I paid like 5 cents for it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and it didn't come with the game. It was just the Steelbook. And I was like, yeah, no.
I don't see, and that to me again shows how sometimes some people live, and it just ugh.
It makes you sad.
Yeah.
Because it deserves a better home. It deserves to be home with Axel.
Yeah, some people just don't cherish their possessions.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's check in with the chat. First off, we got It's Timothy coming in. He says, what's up, everybody? What's going on? It's Timothy. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We got Daniel Lima coming in. He says, good morning. Good morning, Daniel Lima. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. My good buddy, Doggy Dog 420 is in the chat. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Doggy. You are the real MVP. By the way, guys, catch Doggy Friday nights here on the Iconic Video Games channel, on the Iconic Video Games podcast. He's funny. That's all I'll say. He's funny. He's very entertaining. Fastback joins us as well. He says, "Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Fastback. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP." We got Black Carday here. He says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Black Carday? Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP as well. You're wicked hot." Is good morning, everybody. Good morning. You're wicked hot. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. And Papa Woody is in again, this time early. He says, "Doggy dog, the main dog." That's right.
That's a
Shout out
cool
to Papa
logo.
Woody. Thank you so much for joining
You
us.
got a
You are the
cool
real
logo.
MVP.
I like it.
Yeah, I like the logo
Yeah,
too.
definitely. Without a doubt, that is a cool logo.
That is a cool logo. Yeah. And Crazy Greek Dude, as we already mentioned, he's in here. He says, "Hey, all, what's going on, Crazy Greek Dude? Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP." He says, "I'm listening from home this week. Had corneal cross-linking surgery." I don't even know what the heck that is.
Eye stuff.
On Thursday, just receiving. I will be foggy for a while. Well, hey, you know what? We're happy you're lurking. We appreciate you. Thank you. And to everybody else who's lurking, we appreciate each and every one of you as well who is lurking. You are all the real MVP. Back from the Dead joins us. Shout out to Back from the Dead. Thank you so much. You are the real MVP. Man, let's see. I'll take a steelbook and digital code for any game. Yeah. And he says he has 2 walls of him. Wow. Send me a
Wow.
picture. I want to see it. Yeah. And let's see. My preload Armored Core 6 is almost ready. Yeah. Oh, man. I want to play Armored Core 6 so bad as well. But, you know, gaming budgets. And all my budgets going to Starfield. So yeah, I can't justify another game right now. Gotta rein myself in. Let's see. And Shea Walker joins us. Shout out to Shea Walker. Thank you so much for joining us. You are also the real MVP. Guys, what have you been playing this week, Terry? Did you play games this week?
I'm trying to think if I did. It's hard for me to remember. I think I did. I think I did SnowRunner. I probably did SnowRunner.
All right.
I just haven't been gaming much.
SnowRunner, not much gaming.
Yeah.
Dread, tell me you've been playing games this week.
For shame, Terry. For shame.
For shame.
I have been playing catch up on Life. I popped on a little bit of Halo, but didn't really get into anything. What else did I pop on? Vampire Survivors, one of the Old Blood, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just been basically trying to spend time with the family, trying to get some more recordings, trying to edit some recordings, trying to upload some recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all that fun stuff when you don't have enough time because work gets in the way.
Yeah, stupid work.
Yeah.
Right.
60 hours at work, and, you know, you try to figure out when you can do everything else.
Yeah. It's out there, man. So I finished Diablo 4, as I announced. I got 75 hours in, and that's not just my game. You know, I've been hopping in and out of other my friends' games as well. So I finished Diablo 4. Good story. I like it a lot. It does make you want to keep playing at the end, you know, to finish getting all those side quests. Because my God, is there so many side quests? But I'm not a fan that in the season you got to start a new seasonal character. I don't feel like starting over again and playing the campaign again just to unlock the Tree of Whispers so that I can do the end game stuff. I'm sorry. That's just a real big. It upsets me that I have to start a new character. They should have done that from the very, very, very beginning. But I've also played the new Quake 2 remake in 4K, and man, does it look good in 4K. They even updated the text so it's more readable, is what I'm going to say. So that is very, very cool. And Quake 2 plays just as good as it always has. Just as fast and chaotic. So shout out to them for making a proper remake, you know, with 4K upgrades and all that good stuff. And I've been trying to get into Bramble. So far, all I'm doing is following my sister through the forest. That's it. That's literally it. That nothing else has happened. And no puzzles, no combat, no nothing. It's just following her through the forest. Like
mindless fun.
But
keep going, man. Just keep
but
going.
if Phil Spencer recommended Terry and Phil Spencer have recommended Bramble, so I am I'm
Even
following
Noob
her.
liked it, and he's not real big on indies, so he really liked it. So come on, man, keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I'm almost there. Right, Terry?
Keep going.
And so, yeah. But let's see. Dog Dog says he's been playing Jitter Survival. Very good. Still never fixed the performance mode though. Shame on them. Let's see. You can skip the campaign when you start a new character. Oh, thank God. I did not know that. Let's see. Yep, Iconic is on Saturday mornings over here, which I'm busy over here with kids, sports, and I thought, sweet, I finally got you guys live, and I found out you were finishing up. Damn, but I'm here tonight. That's right, Papa Woody. But hey, you know what? If you catch us on the replay, we appreciate you. Speaking of the replay, there is timestamps now, so you guys can skip around to what you want. Yeah. And General Spartan says he's wrapping up Chorus. I wanted to love Chorus so much, but I don't know. It was weird. Something about me in that game just didn't click. But I wanted to like it a lot.
See, and that's the thing, though. Not every game is for every gamer.
I was so happy it was coming to Game Pass. It looked sweet. It looked like my type of game. And I played it, and I'm like, I'm bored. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Why are the flight controls like this? Like it just made no sense to me. But hey, if you're loving Chorus, I'm glad. It's just I don't know. Me and that game just didn't click. But guys, Quake 2 came out. It's obviously, if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you get to try it for free or play it for free. Not try it, play it for free, because it is included with your subscription. It got audio upgrades to spatial audio. It got graphical updates. It got letterbox upgrades. It got accessibility upgrades. It got all the upgrades you want. You can now play it with controller and mouse and keyboard on the same device. It is a proper re-release coming out for everybody to enjoy on all platforms. But you know what's not doing so great here, guys? It is my computer's slow. I need a new computer. I don't know what's happening here. There we go. Red Dead Redemption port. It's asking for $50 for a port. Now, no 4K upgrade, no audio improvements, no quality of life improvements, just a straight port of the 360 version coming to Switch, which is understandable, right? The Switch is at about a 360 power level, but also coming to the PS4, and of course, skipping Xbox, as there is no need to port it to the Xbox, as we get that Game Pass backwards compatibility upgrades, which is, the 4K upgrade, new unlocked textures, looking amazing. But it's $50, guys. And I'm not going to say that this game's not worth $50. If you've never played Red Dead Redemption, it is worth money, right? But $50 for a port, 13 years old, that doesn't improve on anything. It is a straight up port. It is not it is not a re-release. It is a re-release, not a remaster, not a what do you call that? That other
Remake?
one. A remake. Yeah, thank you. Not a remake, a port. Terry.
No. No, that's horrible. That's horrible. I mean, yeah, if you have backwards compatibility, you might as well just go and buy the disc for like $5. Just to enjoy yourself. like wine. Like this, I hate stuff like this. This is them literally just ganking their consumer base. Like they don't give no F's. They're like, you can tell that they don't care about their customers. All they care about is money. Screw them. So screw them. No, yeah. I would never pay $50 for a port like that. Never.
I think what exaggerates this as well is that the Xbox, I think it's down here, the Xbox version is
I know it's one X.
Okay, so the Xbox, it doesn't include the multiplayer as well, whereas the Xbox version, the backwards compatibility includes Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmares. If you have it, they obviously both of those are backwards compatible with the multiplayer. and you can get it for $30. And so it includes a mode that's excluded from the port, and it includes the 4K upgrades. The automatic upgrades. So I think that's what's made like shining the light even brighter on this $50 asking price. Dreadpool, take it away.
Oh,
Lean back, everybody.
yeah, here we go.
The sign came out.
So, well, here's the thing: is I bought this way back when, so it came with the multiplayer. It came with, and obviously now they're separating all this stuff, even on Xbox. If you're looking at getting it with the story mode, you're looking at $60 if you were to buy it now digitally. So, but you have all the Xbox One. Okay, mind you, it's the Xbox One enhancements. So with all that, that could be looked at as a $10 upcharge, but that price was the original price. So it was the going price. So it's not that big of a deal. If you already have it, props to you. Like me, I've already got it. I don't have to worry about it. Didn't even realize that it didn't come out on those other consoles. But for those like Nintendo that didn't have it wouldn't have had a chance in the first place, now they got a chance. So it's nice to see that they're doing that, and it is at a $50 price point, which is very, very reasonable considering what they're doing. Right. So when you look at it, that's not a bad deal. Oh wait, I did. Oops. I was looking at Red Dead 2. I was looking at that one. But again, either way, you're looking at the price point. That's not a bad deal. It's still $50. Should it be $50? I think it should have been less, just because. I don't think that for the age of the game, you should be paying that much, especially seeing that they haven't done any enhancements, anything for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anything. That's the issue.
And it's just and that's the thing though. It's just a port. It's literally a port. So yes, they did do work. Don't get me wrong. They didn't. It's not like they didn't do any work for it. They did do work to do that. But again, it's such an old game. $40, I'd say, would even be a little too much. So looking at 20, I'd say $20 is a good deal.
Fair. I think 20 is fair. 30 if they're adding more stuff.
Yeah,
like
30 if they're
stuff.
pushing it. I could understand like for Nintendo to push it up to 30 because of the cartridge. There's other nuances in games from console to console that people forget. And I know the cartridge thing people don't care to hear about, but it costs money for that. So it's money coming out of their pocket. So if they're trying to break even, they're gonna have to charge you for some things. So when it comes to that, yeah, 20 to 30, 40, like I said, is way pushing it. $50, and for those of us that are here anyway, we more than likely have this game. So does it affect us? No. Should we complain about it? No. Should we talk about it? Yes. We should, again, let the developers know that maybe this isn't the greatest idea that they've done. They should have ported it a long time ago. They should have maybe, brought out some upgrades, maybe, done something better. But yeah, it is what it is.
I feel like just a straight port of a 13-year-old game, I'm thinking top end. I'm thinking top $30.
Right.
And this would definitely be $30 because it includes the Undead Nightmare DLC, right? If you've ever played Red Dead Redemption, you're getting your money's worth at $60 when it first came out, back on the 360 and PS3 days. But that was 13 years ago. Games have, and this game is still better than some games out there, so I feel like $30 is really good. But where was that? Where was it? It says if it was rebuilt like Resident Evil 2, sure. If it's just an up-res, $20. So that remaster up-res is what I call it, right? The remaster fee. I could see that being $40, right? but from the ground up, people wanted Red Dead Redemption to have a full remake in Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. Right? They basically wanted Red Dead Redemption 1 to be remade into Red Dead Redemption 2 world. And that would have been epic. That would have been worth $60, right?
Yeah.
And with Undead Nightmare, who you could have charged the whole 70, right? With a proper remake. The problem I think comes down to the fact that it didn't even get ported to the PS5. It only got ported to the PS4 and the Switch. I want that to sink in. It didn't get ported to current gen consoles. I guess Nintendo Switch is a current gen console, but they have to play this. Our counterparts here have to play this on backwards compatibility mode on their tower of, I don't know, air purifying, on their air purifying tower, in backwards compatibility mode with no upgrades like the Xbox backwards compatibility program does. And I mean, people are pretty upset. I mean, look, $50, a $50 price tag for a simple Red Dead Redemption port is crazy, one fan says. The game is 13 years old, no multiplayer included, there aren't many visual improvements, and it isn't even releasing for PC or PS5 directly. What is Rockstar thinking? Indeed. Ditto. Another one said, I would gladly have paid $60 or $70 for a proper remaster/remake of Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare for PS5. Rockstar decided to release a straight port for $50 for the PS4. It's a hard pass for me, honestly. And another thing that several fans have pointed out is that you can buy Red Dead Redemption on Xbox with all the bells and whistles, including multiplayer and DLC, featured for $30, but Rockstar has just increased that price to $40, as Cheo Walker has pointed out here. So it's $40 now. It used to be $30. So yeah.
You could buy it even cheaper if you bought it physical media used. So think about that too.
Yeah. And shout out to Splendiferous for joining us. He says, let the bums pay full price. Sony players love the premium experience. Yeah. You know, the Twitter people love talking like that, but real gamers don't like that. So yeah. Or sorry, they're not even Twitter people anymore. They're what do we call them? Xers? Xenites?
Yes. I don't know.
I
I still call them Twitter
peeps.
Yeah.
Right. And shout out to Lost Boomer for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP, and Splendiferous is also the real MVP. Thank you so much. He says Amazon UK wants 41 for it now. Yeah. So here we go. Auto HDR, FPS boost, and 4K. Oh, that's right. It's at 30 frames per second on everything, and on Xbox it gets bumped up to 60, right? If I remember.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I was trying to.
Not only do we get the 4K upgrade, but we get the FPS upgrade, and then of course using the Hachi method, we get that auto HDR, baby. That's right. Make sure you turn off your Dolby Vision to get that HDR to work. By the way, guys, just a hint, wink, wink.
Fake HDR going on, so make sure you don't turn it on.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so that's what that's our thoughts on it. I think it's just, it feels good. It feels good to be an Xbox person right now because of Red Dead Redemption. It just shows you the genius of Phil Spencer, the forward thinking of the Xbox team. And shout out to them for all the hard work they did on the backwards compatibility. Unlike those lazy port devs over at other backward compatibility houses. I'm just glad everything's backwards compatible now, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think this right here has vindicated the Xbox backwards compatibility efforts over the last decade. So this is of course one of the better backwards compatibility games on the Xbox. Terry, do you think that when there's such a thing as the grass is greener on the other side? Do you think this is one of those envy, jealousy situations going on right now?
Probably because you'll have like the fanboys for years have always gone on about how backwards compatibility was unnecessary, that no one goes back and plays any of those old games.
That's right.
And now I bet you those same people are probably like, well, all mad now because Xbox has backward compatibility and you can play this game with all the extra perks.
Mhm.
And everybody else is missing out. So I mean that's I guess it's a very late karma going back. But so yeah, I guess this is what happens. This is, it's unfortunate. They really should have done like this though. Since they already have all that stuff included for the Xbox version, they should have packaged it the same way for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that statement. And Chair Walker clarifies. He says there is no FPS upgrade. So, oh well.
Well, they do have a performance mode or visual mode for the Xbox One X version.
Interesting.
So depends on how you look at it. It doesn't clarify what the frame rates are,
Right.
but it does say that there is a performance mode.
There you go. I mean, either way, it doesn't drop down to 20. Not on these powerhouses we have now.
Yeah.
Maybe on the Switch.
I mean, think about it, because even the even the Series S can more than handle this. I mean, if you think about it, the Series S visually could be compared to a 1X, but has more CPU power. So depending on what it is, it says here it was originally capped at 30 frames per second, which is the best you can get because you cannot alter the game. So yes, even your performance mode doesn't give you more frames, but it does make sure that you cannot go below. So either way, I mean, it's the viewpoint, right?
Yeah. If you want a physical copy, you better just go pick it up now for $5 because that price is going to jack up now. That physical copy is going to become valuable now because everyone's going to be like, why would I pay, $50 when I can just pay $5, So.
Yeah.
Get to that garage sale before
get it now.
And,
go see if your local GameStop still has an old copy somewhere, or go on Amazon or eBay. Get it now because they're gonna jack that up.
That's right. I got a copy for you right here, Dreadpool, $300.
I was gonna say if it was 5 years ago, GameStop would have had it at $60 already. Huge, $60. Here you go. But who knows now? Right. Who knows?
That's right. So somebody on YouTube, let me see here. CYUCU1. I don't know how to pronounce that. Did a comparison of Red Dead Redemption original and this re-release. He calls it a remaster, but it's not a remaster. It is most certainly a port. So let's see, original remaster. So we're gonna watch these few scenes on the original, and it looks great. Even by today's standard, it still looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the remastered version. Of course, same scenes.
Well, you have further draw distance.
Oh, definitely.
When you're looking at it, so there's more to it than just the visuals.
Yeah. So here we go, side by side. Let's go to side by side. Different time of day. You can see they added.
You notice how
the different cloud work. They added some sky work. And of course, I think this guy's not playing at the same time of day, so take it for what it is, guys.
Yeah, but look at the trees. You look at a lot of the stuff in the distance.
Yeah.
So it's not just the up close things.
Where's the Digital Foundry 300 times zoom videos when you need them?
Oh, wait. Did they add an extra sliver of grass there? Speaking of Digital Foundry.
Is this the grass game? I think it is, isn't it?
Oh,
it is. That's right. This is the one that did Grassgate. Yeah.
Oh, the remaster has less grass. Oh no. Oh no,
man! Look at this grass and look at all this grass. Oh man, Digital Foundry's about to have a field day, guys.
I was gonna focus in on that old guy's mustache, and he's got an extra Thread of
So he's
hair.
got some extra nose hair going on right here.
Yeah, right there. You see, extra thread of hair. No way.
Oh my god! You can see the enamel on his teeth if you zoom in 300 times.
Oh goodness.
Oh man, I'm sorry, but nobody plays their games zooming in 300 times. Just saying. So yeah, again, shout out to CYCU1. He did this this comparison. Yeah. All right. Enough Red Dead Redemption, guys. Let's see. Terry, are you paying $50 for this?
No.
Deadpool, are you paying $50 for this?
HE double hockey sticks? No.
Terry, is the chat gonna pay $50 for this?
88% say no.
All right. And guys, of course, thank you so much here to Web Dave. Shout out to Web Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, everybody hit that like button. That's right, guys. Hit that like button. It helps us get discovered, especially on the live page of YouTube. It helps us get featured. We would really appreciate all your support. Share the show out. Tell a friend. Tell a buddy. And also, guys, be sure to subscribe if you are not already subscribed. And Fastback's asking, are we doing fantasy football? Yes. Yes, I just have been very busy, but we are going to do our draft the 4th week of preseason. So for the last game of preseason. So yeah, get your picks ready. Get your picks ready. Let's see. In the end, they have to charge because a PS3 to PS4 5-port costs money to make. An Xbox port costs $0 and 0 time. Yeah, true story. PS3 is not backwards compatible with anything. It's not backwards compatible with the PS4, and it's not backwards compatible with the PS5. It was that cell processor just ruined life for backwards compatibility people. But from what I hear, Sony was right. It was very powerful. From what I hear from tech guys, that cell processor had a ceiling that was unmatched. But yeah, all right. Let's move the show right along. What are we covering next here? We are going to Xbox split screen. So guys, the news has come out. The Forza Motorsport, just like Halo Infinite, will not have split screen and other legacy features for launch. Don't care about the other legacy features. I want to talk about split screen. But just in case you do care about what features are not launching, it won't feature AI racing in multiplayer. So like if you and a friend want to play multiplayer, you won't be able to load up AIs in a certain mode. And it also won't feature, I think they said it's not coming with drift mode. It's not coming with drag mode. And there's another feature that it's going to be missing. And I forget what it is. Split screen, AI, and some multiplayer modes. Spectator mode, that's right. It won't load spectator mode if that's something you like to do.
Like whoever uses spectator mode, I know I don't use spectator mode. So
I'm not loading up Forza Horizon or Forza Motorsport to watch other people race. I want to race.
Yeah.
But I guess if you take it super serious, you want to watch how some people break and accelerate, like some really good players. And you want to study their film, because I guess if you're super competitive, that could really help. But
would you just watch their live stream?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, but like when I used to play League of Legends real competitively, I would download their raw footage and just spectate it and just like see when they clicked, how they clicked. The really good people that play way better than I do. So I understand some spectator mode, and some people may just love looking at how pretty the game is. You never know.
See, I wish more multiplayer games would actually have spectator mode, only for the fact with, obviously I'm with Game Beyond the Box, and we've done tournaments, and doing those kind of tournaments where you do color commentary, you need to have spectator mode so you can watch it as it's going on live and be able to, because we're trying to watch multiple streams at the same time of the same gameplay. And when you can have spectator mode, you can switch between the different players. We had to research which games could do it. We had to so obviously this was our purpose for the tournaments, to be able to push it out there for the community to enjoy and also donate money to a good cause. so now you got to think of it more on the bigger scale for actual companies that are doing this currently. It makes it easier for them. So if we're just a whole bunch of local, small guys, running around trying to do, something similar for the community, imagine bigger people that have more influence than we ever have, and trying to do something like this too. It would be nice to be able to, like, hey, here's this, because now you're not trying to watch somebody stream, you're watching a singular channel stream that is promoting all these different characters, personalities that are playing, and you can watch and listen to the color commentary. I mean, I was just at which one was it? MetroCon in Tampa. They had gameplay. They had different screens, but they had two contestants up on a stage, and they were fighting, playing fighting games, and they were doing their own little. It was another company that was in there, but they were doing their own little color commentary, and they had different views of cameras of the players and the gameplay, and trying to, and they were like professionally doing color commentary while the game was going. So in that aspect, you need that stuff, and that's why I say I wish more games had that ability versus removing it. So it doesn't help for the normies, but it helps the bigger businesses, or even smaller businesses, trying to promote not just the game but the people that play these things. They're trying to do good causes, so it's one of those things that I do think that even if we don't use it, I think need to be there for the bigger and the greater good of the community of that game.
Right. I agree. Features are always welcome, and the more feature, I've always considered Xbox to be the best bang for your buck, because it always launched games with more modes than anybody else did. So I always considered it to be better, and that's why I always went to it, right? But anyways, but Xbox is starting to have this issue where they're starting to launch games without modes. Now, granted, nothing was the difference between this and Halo Infinite is that in Halo Infinite, it's going to have split screen. It will launch with split screen, and it's still not there.
Technically,
with Halo, they said they would launch with another mode as well, split screen multiplayer, and something else. The Forge. That's right. It would launch without Forge, which Forge is Forge. It always launches late. Historically, only Halo 3 and Halo Reach launched with Forge, I believe. Everything else, Halo 4, Halo 5, Forge came later. But the difference between this and Halo is that nothing was promised. They never said that they were going to launch it with that Forza Motorsport will launch with this, right? They've always just been talking about what it will launch with. And now that it's, it has an October 10th release date, I believe, they're starting to say, hey, it's not going to launch with drag mode. It's not going to launch with drift mode. It's not going to launch with split screen. It's not going to launch with spectator. And the big one for me, though, is the AI in multiplayer racing, because that's always been, for someone who's not really good at Forza but still loves playing multiplayer.
You heard it here. He admits it. He's not good. He runs himself into rocks.
There's no rocks to run into in Forza. Anyways, it was always nice that when like these guys that are really, really good, they're like lapping you, but you're still ahead of the AI. It makes you feel good. Now I'm going to be dead last, right? Because the AI is not going to be there. The drivatars, as they call them, right?
Well, it's fun to race with your friends, even though they're not really there. It's just their avatar.
Yeah, it's just their avatar, and as always, DREADPOOL's always in the front, just lane blocking, which is very normal to the way he actually races. When they said the drivatar picks up on your driving habits and races like you in real races, they mean it.
I just use you as a cushion. It's kind of like a slide. When you're sliding down and you hit the rail and you still stay in your lane, that's what I use you as a little buffer there to stay off the wall.
If we weren't live right now, I would say so many words to you, but I'm not going to at this moment. So, yeah, I am not going to say any words to you. I'm just going to let you know that I'm thinking certain words for you.
It's okay. There's video out there to prove I didn't run you off the road.
There's a video proving you did. Anyway, so yeah, Forza Motorsport just it has always been kind of like it replaced Project Gotham Racing as the de facto Xbox racer, and I think it's so much better than Project Gotham ever was. Project Gotham was a little more arcadey. It was like half hardcore, half not, whereas Forza Motorsport is full hardcore. And the fact that it's just not launching, and Xbox is starting to have this reputation of launching incomplete games, especially when they say one thing and it doesn't happen. 60 frames per minute, 60 frames per second mode, and Redfall didn't come, and it's still not there. And it's a bad reputation to have, that you're promising features and the features don't materialize. In my opinion, that's just bad all the way around. Real quick, shout out to Dan the Man Cunningham. He says, "Good morning, everybody." Good morning, Dan the Man Cunningham. We appreciate you. And shout out to Mike Wallace, the original Next Level Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad you're still here on YouTube for now. We appreciate you. So is Xbox having a problem completing games? Terry, do you think Xbox is having a problem meeting dev cycles and launching complete games to features that they themselves said they would come, or that they set the standard for?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not those features matter to you. You can't miss something that you don't use. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't care about split screen. I don't care about spectator. I don't use them. I'm not going to miss them. If they're not going to be in the game, it doesn't change anything for me. Whereas I could see how certain features are going to affect other people. If you have, kids and you want to split screen with your kid or whatever, I can see that, and stuff. But like, I don't know. I feel like the majority of people aren't using spectator mode in a competitive setting like DREADPOOL was describing. So they're going to phase stuff out because it costs money and takes time to develop these modes. And if they see that the majority of people aren't using it, then, they're going to leave it out. I mean, yeah, that's going to suck for those that do use it. But if you're the minority, you don't really get a say. That's just how things work.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't really see it as Xbox has a problem. I think it's just the minority groups that use stuff have the problem.
Okay. Well, how big of a minority are they, Terry? I personally didn't even know that Forza came with a split screen mode.
Me neither, because like everybody.
That was news to me.
Like, split screen was a thing that was common when we were kids. Nowadays everybody predominantly plays everything online. They're going to play with their friend online on their own screens. Split screen is, archaic. You know what I mean? Like, there are still people that might use it, but yeah, it's really not really a thing. Even kids today don't really use it. They all are playing online, so it's. Yeah. You're definitely a minority if you're using it,
Yeah. So I didn't even know it came, because Forza Horizon doesn't have split screen mode at all. So I thought in my head, oh, neither does Forza, right? So I didn't even know it had it, but I'm not the only one who was clueless. The chat was also clueless. Terry, how many people in the chat didn't know?
64% did not know that it had split screen to begin with. So 35% were aware.
Tisk.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
we've
not to
been
say that
playing.
split screen isn't valuable, because Split Difference says here, I use split screen because I play with my kids a lot. So yeah, it is gonna be good for him.
See,
Lost Boomer says, just stop putting foot in mouth and saying things that are going to have, till they know they're going to have them. Yeah. I think there's a reason Xbox Game Pass is important to understand. Games as a service is making money, so this might be the reason we don't get split screen, etc. Maybe. Is this the Game Pass effect? The other side, Team Blue, has always argued that games will be worse because of Game Pass. Is this the Game Pass effect?
I don't think that's really the Game Pass effect. I think the fact that more players are playing online is the factor, because if you think about it, the necessity for split screen is because we didn't have online back in those days.
Yeah,
And
internet killed it. Internet killed the need.
Yeah, and when we did, you couldn't. They didn't have other games other than like Halo and certain games like that had split screen online. Okay, so you could either play split screen offline or split screen online. Some games, and nowadays, even a lot of games now, split screen is offline. There's very few games that you can still play online couch co-op, and when you're combining them. So when you look at it, it's just, I think it's just a factor of the era. Is they're not thinking of, hey, I mean, the prime example, right? Halo. They said, oh, well, we didn't have split screen because we didn't account for it, but the next game will have split screen. It will be there because so many people complained that now they have to buy multiple consoles of the same console if they have multiple children. So not only does mom or dad have to have their own console right? Now you have tiny Timmy and little Becky and little Susie, and now however many kids. Now you have to have not only that for each console, for each kid and or parents.
Nope.
You also have to have online capabilities. So either you're buying gold or you're buying Ultimate Game Pass for each of those accounts. And obviously if you know how to game share, you kind of mitigate some of that, but still it puts in line of why is this the thing? I don't think they're looking at it going, hey, Game Pass is why we don't have to put in all this money. I think it's more of more and more people aren't using this. Well, the reason why more and more people aren't using it is because your other games have forced people into going this route. That's why a lot of us, I mean, I was going to do it in my intro, but I might as well do it right now. I just got my second Xbox Series X, right? I used all my reward points and I have it. I literally bought it from the Microsoft Store for free using all my Microsoft reward points. I got that, right? I just did the unboxing. I did the video. I have yet to post it, but it's sitting in the living room right now, right? I've got the Series X right next to me. I've got the second one out in the living room, plus the 1X out in the living room. So again, it's like, oh, okay. Not very many people are fortunate enough to have multiple consoles like this.
Right.
So yes, I'm an outlier because I got mine for free. I got the first one for $200 because again, I used those Microsoft points to minimize my purchasing, but not very many people are doing that, let alone not very many people have the money to buy multiple consoles. So unfortunately, the developers, and it's not really necessarily the developers, it's whoever's strategically above them, the management side, that are making these choices, because the developers are just making the game the best that they can. It's the management above them that are making these choices. And unfortunately, it's just like, why did we stop using certain things back in the day? Why did we stop using fax machines? Right? Fax machines are still being used in a lot of doctors' offices, but why did we stop using it as a whole?
Email.
Exactly. Why email was
Attachments.
a thing. Correct. Now we can use email on our phones. Before it was just on our computer, but not, it's just progression of time. What happened to the typewriter? Right? Printing press. all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's just a matter of time with technology. Things phase out, and this is one of those things that phase out. It's not because people chose not to use it. It's just because things happen and led that direction, and then they're making decisions based upon that direction that has been led upon. So unfortunately, this is one of those things that we need to have brought back. We need to bring it into the forefront, because when I have kids come over and they're playing with my daughter has to come back here to my Xbox so her friends can play on the front Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, that's not fair. They should be playing out there. You know, Minecraft, they're playing out there together. But now they're like trying to hook up and yell across the house because this technology for the party chat's not working for this and that. And it's like, what's going on?
Right.
This is the whole thing. It's just part of evolution when it comes to technology and people, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel that Xbox is starting to get this reputation because it's not only, if this was just third party struggling, I could understand. But again, I've always said if first party can't do it, don't expect third party to do it, right? And a big effect of that right now is Baldur's Gate 3. They have said they are on record saying that split screen on the Series S is the issue, or is an issue. Maybe not the entirety of the issue, but is an issue, right? And the Microsoft Advanced Technology Group is now at Lariat trying to help them figure out how to get Baldur's Gate 3 to work on the Series S, and the Series S. And the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate doesn't even have a release date. It doesn't even have a 2023 release date. Most people think it will not come till 2024, myself included. But I mean, Halo couldn't get the split screen working. I mean, they were working on it and then they stopped.
And
so they gave up.
And hackers got it to work. So
they got it to work on an Xbox Series X.
So
I never saw anybody running it on an Xbox Series S.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing that we don't know.
Right.
Did anybody try?
Right. So. And then now you have something like Forza Motorsport, which as I said, I was shocked it had split screen, because to me, modern racers aren't necessarily a split screen experience, in my opinion, because I want to see all of it. And I think it would give me motion sickness to see, half the screen going this way and the other half going this way. But I don't play games with anybody in my house on the same TV. I am fortunate enough to have saved all my consoles over time, and over the last two years, a lot of games were forward and backwards compatible. So if I ever had my nieces and nephews over, like Grounded, we just played on different TVs, right? But it seems more and more that the S, and I think the primary culprit is the RAM, because they reduced the RAM to half. Instead of 16 gigs, it's only got 8 gigs or something.
Right.
I think it has 10 gigs and 2 gigs are reserved for the system.
Right.
And so I think the RAM is really holding back the Series S. And I kind of thought it would, right? As soon as I said that, I was like, oh my God, why did you reduce the RAM? Right. But I'm not a computer hardware engineer.
The thing is,
I don't know how much that affects anything.
You're looking at the RAM in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
The Series S is a 1080p machine, right? It's basically comparable to a 1X when you look at it. Yes, I know the 1X is a 4K machine, but when you look at the graphical processing, it is basically like a 1X. So it's the next evolution, obviously, but it's got a faster CPU than the 1X, obviously, because it's literally just a smidge slower than the Series X. So the RAM, when it comes to all that, is not as big of a deal when you look at it when it comes to textures, because you're dropping down to 1080p. So that's a texture thing. That is basically less information that you have to process. So you don't need as much information. And I think part of it might be the engine, because the engine, when they built it, did not provision for certain things. I mean, think about this. If I can play that game on a potato PC, what's the difference of an S, right? So if I'm playing that with a machine that has a graphics card that only has 6 gigs of RAM, okay, well, what's the point?
Well, let me counter that, right? And the difference between what you just said and an Xbox is the shared RAM pool. You know, if I have a potato PC with a graphics card, it still has independent VRAM.
Correct.
The S has an APU, not a dedicated graphics card or a dedicated processor. One processor is handling everything, much like, I don't know, your Intel integrated process and Intel integrated graphics laptops or whatever, right? It's different. You know, some games cannot run on an Intel integrated graphics laptop or computer because it just doesn't have the graphical power.
All right. How about a laptop that has an APU? You can play it there.
What laptop has an APU? I don't even know of a single gaming laptop that has an APU.
There's a few laptops that are still out there that they're not gaming laptops, but you can still game on them.
That's my point. Okay, so they're not gaming laptops, right? The Xbox Series S is a gaming console. And I really do think that the RAM is holding it back because it has, you know, that VAT RAM is system RAM.
The RAM is holding it back.
Textures RAM, it's video RAM, it's everything.
Yeah, but it's not just the RAM. There's things called optimization. Because if you can break a 4090 with a game, that means you didn't optimize for graphics cards. You didn't optimize for the different variations. But so if you can brick a 4090, which is the powerhouse, you know, for most consumers, that is the best you can get. And you're buying it.
There's a single game out that has launched missing split screen that is bricking a 4090 though. Like I understand your hypothetical, but the reality is the games that are not running split screen can run on AMD FX chips. I mean, they are old.
Redfall bricked it.
Redfall
bricked it. That was one of the games. Again, was not optimized.
Right.
So,
but again, that wasn't a split screen issue. That was a 60 FPS issue. But again, it's still the same thing. Features, right?
Yeah, regardless of split screen, the features is what bricked it.
So anyway, it's just, I really don't want Xbox to have this reputation. I really don't think it's a good look, in my opinion, to continuously launch incomplete games, because people, and including influential people in the media, will say that this is, you know, the Xbox effect or the games as a service effect, whatever, right? Even though we think it won't affect very many people, like let's just pretend it only affects 5% of gamers. You know, there's 20 million Xboxes out there, right? 5% of 20 million is quite significant. Xbox series consoles is what I'm talking about, right? Not just Xboxes. That's a million voices being affected, right? So it's not nothing. When you're dealing with millions, 5% is a lot, right? So that's just all I'm saying. I think that Xbox needs to, I don't know what to say here. Maybe delay Forza all the way into next year again. I mean, we have Starfield coming around, and I understand a lot of us have been waiting for Forza, and nobody wants to delay, but you know, I'm just gonna go here. You know, every game studio is different. It's not an Xbox issue to get it all in on launch. Whereas Factions from The Last of Us 2, Factions has been delayed until it's done. It's been 3 years. You know, maybe delay Forza until it's done.
Well,
you know, and shout out to Princess Zelda. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP, Princess Zelda. You're amazing.
I'm trying to remember. There was a game. Oh, keep going.
Yeah, sorry. I got to catch up with the chat. We've been talking a lot without checking in. No, I love to play split screen with my family. Yes. Let's see. If Forza was 4K 30 at launch, that would be a very different issue. Yeah, it would be. And Happy Cloud Gamer, remember Nintendo Switch has many split screen games. It does, but they're not to the.
That's different though.
They're
'cause
not
that,
even
that,
at the
that,
same
that
AI
whole,
level as Forza.
That
right.
And the whole console is marketed for that. They want you to sit there when out in the street on the go and hand off a Joy-Con to somebody and play it, like that. That's the whole way they built it.
Yeah. Agreed. Fastback says if a studio says a certain feature early on but ends up not being able to meet that at launch, no biggie, just explain and move on. Yes and no. Some people really look forward to certain features. Halo not having multiplayer. I'm not even talking split screen, but campaign co-op, even online campaign co-op, was a huge deal, no matter how they explained it. Just saying. Let's see. Do we think it's the S effect like Baldur's Gate 3? Yes, I do. Mainly because they said it is. So I don't think it is. They straight up said it is. Let's see. In my view, if the N64, PS2, PS3, and Xbox 360 could do split screen, it's a developer issue to me. It most definitely is. But developers, as an engineer, I can tell you right now, things have development cycles. You got to get it done.
You also
within a
got to
certain
think though that
cycle.
Once you start getting into the PS3 and on, then it starts to shift because of online play. But when you think about it, split screen is a LAN thing, not an online thing. And now games are designed for online play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a completely different beast to have a fully online game and then try to have it for a LAN thing, so that way you can do split screen. It's like that's not what they designed the game to do.
Right.
That's the other thing. From interviewing devs, if you don't design the network code from the get-go, it's harder to go back and add it in, because it breaks a lot of things that would have been working normally. So when you do like a couch co-op with no split screen, and then you try to go split screen or like a net code to go online, that affects the game also. So and going back to design, back in those days, with the 360 days, the games were only so big, because you think about it, they were only typically at the max anywhere from 3 to 6 gigs. Now we're doing 120 something gigs. So when you're looking at the size and scope of these games on what the coding is, not just coding, but graphics. All right. So the graphical storage that, for the assets that they have, the textures are so much bigger. Right. So now you have different variations, because the further it is, you don't need as much graphics fidelity. So you have another texture that is the same texture, but lower fidelity. So that takes up space. But that also is a code that you have to put in there and account for when you're transitioning from near to far. And each level that they want to go in details will determine how much storage there is. Well, determining how much storage is also determining how much code you have to write for that level of detail, and less level of detail as you go further away. So when you do all that, everything fits in a box. All right. So when you move, they say, hey, here's the moving van, fit everything you can in that house. After that, that's it. So when you move into another house, the house is bigger, but you only had so much room to put in that van. So think about that. You can only fit in what you can fit in. After that, everything gets pushed out. So you'd have to get a second van. But guess what? Now that second van is not going to have the main necessities like the first van. So when it came to the 360 era, all right, you had more room to do stuff than you have now. Now there's a lot more detail oriented when it comes to building the program, building the base on how big this box is going to be. Because for all you know, the next house is going to be smaller because you've added more picture frames. Okay. Well, now you don't have as much wall to put all your pictures up. Now what do? You don't have as much wall to put up your middle game cases. So now you have to figure out where you're going to pack those game cases, right? So it's just reality, it's real life. Some of this stuff should have been there. Some of this stuff can be there. But is it physically possible with the amount of time that they have to build a house that can house all this stuff? That's the other thing, because a lot of games now that took 2 to 3 years are taking 5 to 6 years on up. I mean, there's games that are going to be started pretty soon that will completely miss this generation.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what the next generation is just yet, so you can't do it. And this is the exact same thing that happened with Cyberpunk. They were literally built for last generation, and they couldn't do it. This generation brute forced everything.
Yeah. And it's not just a matter of dropping resolution, guys. It's the physics engine that has to be there, especially if you want parity. The experience of Forza Motorsport on the Xbox Series S has to be the same as Xbox Series X, at least when it comes to the physics engine, the AI, the control input, the way the AI reacts to the way you race, et cetera, right? So it's not just resolution, it's the AI load, and all that loads somewhere, right? I think it loads into the RAM personally, but because it has to go somewhere, right? And so I just it's not, everybody's like, just drop the resolution, drop the resolution. It's not just a matter of resolution, right? It's a matter of experience. And that Havoc physics engine that Xbox games use, because Microsoft owns Havoc, it's detailed. I mean, they raised the contact point of tires from 1 to 8. That takes some effort, right? I mean, something has to process those 8 points of contact. So it's not just a matter, and that's per tire, so it's got to go somewhere. It's not just that. So, and doing it split screen, now you have to process twice as many at the same time, and that could be something, right? That could be something that's definitely difficult to do when you want to get real technical on a racer, and you add the points of contact to the tires to 8 per. So you have 32, what is that? 32 points of contact per car. And now you want to load a second player. You have 64 points of contact per tire that you got to think about all the time and a very fast racer. That's just gonna take effort. So shout out to the devs that are trying to do this. So yeah. And Darkzone, shout out to Darkzone. Thank you so much for joining us. Who actually uses split screen? I didn't even know.
So, parents. That's pretty legit.
But I would say families do.
Yeah.
Families that can't afford multiple TVs and multiple consoles, right? So I would say split screen is definitely out there for some.
But even then, every morning before school.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, every morning before school, my daughter's friend comes over and they split screen Minecraft right now, currently. So every day they split screen. And if there's a game that they can play that they can split screen or share the same screen, they do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, for families that have multiple children, me and my brother, we never got individual consoles. We always had to share. So split screen,
yes,
for those multiple child families is important. Like my friend, he has 2 boys about 2 years apart. Each of them don't get their own Nintendo Switch. They have to share. Each of them don't get their own Xbox. They have to share.
Look, they need to dig deep. Okay, and they got to pass that controller around, because then they can learn how to share. This is important for kids. Stop giving them everything.
Yeah.
Force them to hand off a dang controller like we did as a kid, so they can actually learn how to bond and share with their siblings.
Right.
Instead of locking them out of the room.
Yeah. Just be happy there's no wires anymore, because I remember disconnecting wires. Wires to win. Yeah, but that's just the reality, is that split screen has its purpose, especially when you buy an Xbox. Like, you've seen videos of children getting an Xbox or a gaming console, and it's not just one child who's excited, it's multiple children who are excited. We've all seen those on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever it is you guys use for social media. Yeah. So yeah, let's see. Fastback says this is fake outrage by biased media and fanboys to keep Xbox looking bad. Dang, I'm a fanboy. Oh my gosh. And Happy Cloud Gamer is in one of those situations where he loves playing split screen with his family. It's a thing. And Chair Walker said the main problem is no one's using mesh shaders, including Microsoft. The Series S was dependent on that tool. Maybe. I don't know what they are or are not using. So yeah.
But that's the thing. It doesn't have to be exactly 4K. It could be checkerboard. There's so many tools that they're not using.
Mhm.
That's the problem. Still.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And shout out to Splendiferous. Axel, stop talking trash about Little Man. Little Man has more 120 hertz games than PS5. It does. It does. It does. The facts are facts. It definitely does. It's a very capable machine. I'm just saying that it's the optics right now is that Little Man is holding back some features.
When it comes down to the game Baldur's Gate 3, honestly,
Yes.
I feel like that game shouldn't have split screen. It's an isometric RPG. Everything is tiny already.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're shrinking it down even more for split screen. That's just awful. And then you have, when you're playing a game like that, you have a lot of mobs, you have a lot of, AoE stuff going on. You're not going to even know where the heck you are on that screen if you do split screen in a game like that. Like, I feel like there's no reason for it. It's too, games like that are too chaotic. Split screen's just a bad idea, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to play a game like that and make it even smaller. There's too much going on in those games.
Of all the games I've loved playing split screen on, CRPGs and races are the last ones I'd want to.
Yeah.
That'd be like me wanting to play Flight Simulator split screen. I don't want to play Flight Simulator split screen. It just makes no sense to me to split screen that experience.
I don't mind doing
CRPGs, they're very deep, very tactical. You spend a lot of times in the menu. I mean, could you imagine your friend goes into a menu and you're there sitting for 20 minutes waiting for his turn to end or something? I mean, or for him to finish whatever he's doing. Some games are just not good on split screen. But, I don't have the data. I don't have the analytics. I don't know what they do. And, Baldur's Gate can easily disable split screen just like they disabled it on Steam Deck.
Just take the feature out.
But, everybody will use it as a console war point. But for me personally, I really wouldn't care if it's missing. But again, that's just me.
Yeah.
Right. And, and for context here, the counter racer, the counterpart, the one that it's always compared to, GT7 launched with split screen.
See, I don't have a problem doing split screen with racing, but again, that's my childhood. I spent a lot of time playing racers and doing split screen, so that's fine for me. That won't bother me, but I would never play an RPG, like an isometric RPG.
Isometric, yeah.
I couldn't do it split screen because there's just too much you have to keep track of, and then shrink it down. It's it's already hard on a full screen to keep track of where your character is in a mob of enemies, let alone, now you're in a corner. No, thank you. I wouldn't want to do it. Right.
And shout out to our WK88. He says, sorry I'm late. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you here. You are the real MVP. Dragonheart Yobi joins us. Shout out to Dragonheart. You are the real MVP. He says, 95% of the games industries release broken/buggy games. That is true. That is true. Hellblade 2 won't launch with combat. It better. That's all I have to say. It better. Let's see. The voice of wisdom is Terry. Absolutely. She's amazing. Dan the Man Cunningham. Thank you so much for joining us. If I haven't already said so, you are the real MVP. He says, Microsoft may have to consider changing the strategy of simultaneous release for X and S and might have to stagger the releases. I disagree with that statement.
That would hurt them way too much.
Yeah,
no one's going to buy an S.
100%.
If they knew for a fact that they would have to wait 3 to 6 months to get a game for the S, nobody would buy it. That would hurt them too much.
Yeah. And Dark Zone 2525 says, it went from its developers to I'm starting to think Xbox Series S is holding back Xbox Series X from eating monsters for breakfast. Come on, Xbox Series S, stop holding the leash of the Series X. You need to unleash the beast. Shout out to Dark Zone. I still think current games are way better than they were. And I
Mhm.
still think that Xbox Series X is an amazing machine. And who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see. So Split Difference says my kids have TVs in their own room with consoles, but when we're in the family room, all of us want to play together. As you should. As you should. Spend time together. Red Monkey Butt says software will always outpace hardware. Console developers and gamers got to get used to the limitations during the generation. Yeah, yeah. And you know, right now, I think they're starting to encounter their first mountain. You know, once they get over this mountain, get over that it's going to be another mountain and another mountain because they're going to figure it out. Xbox is not just going to sit back and let the competition have all the split screen games. You know, that's just not what's going to happen.
Yeah, but look at the games that usually typically come out in the first part of the generation towards the end part of the generation.
Yeah.
There's usually a massive learning curve in between, and then they figure out how to milk every little ounce out of those consoles, just like they did with the one consoles. You look at what was it, Rise? How great that looked, but then you look at the limitations of the consoles to the point where we actually have the Pro console, which was the 1X, and how they managed to milk every little bit of the 1X for Gears of War 5. You know, so you look
Gears
at
of War 5 on the 1X was incredible.
Right. So you look at how, and what they figured out is that it had so much graphical power, even though the CPU was still the same CPU and it was still lame, but the GPU, and they were able to manage a lot of the processing shifted over to the GPU side. So again, it's getting them to use the tools and learning how to get around the limitations. So saying that this is an issue, it's just an issue for now. You know, it's just like I can't ride a bike. Well, eventually you're going to have to figure out how to get up to speed and pedal to learn how to ride a bike. But until then, you're just going to be, you know, wobbling back and forth with your feet on the ground. But you got to eventually put your feet on the pedals and push. And that's what we want them. We want them to use the tools and they can ride their bike so we can enjoy the games.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think once they figure out this split screen issue, you know, I wish they wouldn't have given up on the Halo split screen issue because I feel that they could have solved this by now. And now that Baldur's Gate is here and it's such a highly rated game, highest rated game of the year so far, I think it's forcing the issue at Xbox like, dang, we got to figure out the split screen issue no matter what, which is why the Advanced Technology Group is now on it. And so I'm sure once the Advanced Technology Group figures it out, they're going to put it in the dev kits. They're going to update the dev kits, and bada bing, bada boom, everything's going to come together all at the same time. And we're no longer going to have this talking point, which will be amazing, right? Yeah. So everybody's saying some real good points in the chat, guys. I can't read all of them, but let me see if I can get some. Chael Walker says, remember when we used to complain about the Xbox DVR? Now people forget that it's broken. This too will pass. I haven't forgotten. Trust me. I have not forgotten because I like uploading clips, and some of them the voice doesn't sync up. Some of them come out dark. Some of them come out green. It's an issue. Yeah. And let's see. It's like they want to get rid of it, but not actually say we're adding it. You know, and that could be it. You know, they could have just said, you know, Forza Motorsport from here on out will no longer feature split screen. That could have been a statement, right? So yeah. Let's see. Look, man, the competition paid them to say Series S is holding back the game because they don't have Starfield. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's just we're everywhere now, guys. But I think, you know, it does. Let's see how the chat thinks. Terry, we had a poll in the chat. How does it look?
All right. Why is split screen an issue with Xbox games? 47%. Modern games don't need it. 28% said developers need time, and 23% said that the Series S is a potato.
There you go. There you go. So everybody has thoughts. And none of us are developers, so none of us will really know what's going on. let's see. DE, shout out to DE. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, I think they got an uphill battle. Slower clock speeds has got to show up somewhere versus more cores. Yeah, that might be next generation, but for now, the hardware is the hardware, and you gotta roll with it. You gotta find a way to be successful with it. Like the Switch is a potato, and they have found Nintendo has found incredible success with that potato. From led by their first party, and Xbox, the Series S is not a potato. I think it's actually quite an incredible machine for the price point, and but it is the hardware that they have for this whole generation that we're only 3 years in now. Yeah, 3 years in out of a 6 to 8 year generation, and I'm gonna guess this one's gonna go 8 years. So they're gonna find a way to make that Series S and X really show. I think Starfield is gonna be that because Starfield is looking amazing, and it's gonna show developers that look, the Series S is amazing. Look at this game with all its complex systems. It memorizes where every sandwich you've ever encountered is. So yeah, it's gonna be something.
So the problem is, again, I've said this before many times, first party should show how to do the tech, how to use the tools, and make the tech look great, to set the example, set the bar, and raise the bar for all the other devs when it comes to third parties.
Yeah.
And if they're not doing it, why would anybody else do it?
Yeah. And again, and this goes back to that advanced technology group. They're going to do it. I have faith in the advanced technology group. And once they figure it out, everybody's going to know how to do it, including Xbox first party. So I think maybe split screen will still come to Halo. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Do you think maybe
it should?
Do you think maybe, just maybe, hear me out, conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that they're not doing it, they're pushing it off, they're using it as an excuse because they're not actually putting any real manpower into it per se, because it's going up against Starfield. So instead of competing for the same type of person that would play both, so instead of competing for them, let it use this as an excuse so we can concentrate over here instead. And then eventually, obviously the Xbox team will be there to help them iron everything out, but eventually also put it out at a later date where it's not in direct competition with Starfield, where Starfield attraction has died off for the majority of people.
You're inferring Baldur's Gate 3 versus Starfield.
Correct.
Baldur's Gate 3 CRPGs are not as popular as Baldur's Gate 3 is.
Correct.
It has no reason being this popular other than FOMO, I think. It just kind of was the hot game, I think. But CRPGs are very, very, very niche group. Terry can back me up on this. Not everybody likes hard, and that it's not even like a casual CRPG. It is a hardcore. You're 80 hours in and your character dies, game over, start over.
Oh God.
It is a hardcore game.
I cast the game out at that point. The game's dead to me. I'm not doing it again.
It is a hardcore CRPG where, like, if you get stuck in I'm going to load you right before the boss and you have no way of going back, you must face this boss and you can't get past this boss, you're going to start over. Like, if you didn't save somewhere before, you're going to start over. So, but would Xbox not solve the split screen problem because of Starfield? I don't think so.
I don't think Xbox would.
I don't think Xbox would go that strategy, as they have never historically shied away from other games. I think the only games everybody avoids are like Red Dead Redemption and GTA. Those are the only games that everybody tries to avoid.
I'm not saying Xbox is avoiding it. That's why they're there trying to help push it. I think Larian Studios is avoiding it because, and just think about it though. Think about it. Right now, it's the biggest high PC game out there. When Starfield falls off, and at any point in time, whenever PlayStation falls off too, the next big jump for them could be when they release it on Xbox. So those that would have that access could be another huge jump for them. So maybe it is a strategy that they're like releasing it in stages and avoiding the one potential stage that would be a downfall for them in the console market, which would be on the Xbox side, because too many people would be going Starfield. It's just a conspiracy theory out there.
I find it hard to believe, because that would infer that they knew something. Like right now, nobody really knows how good Starfield is going to be. Right? I know I'm hyped for it, but I don't know how good it's going to be. And the fact that Baldur's Gate is a 97 meta, I never anticipated that. I definitely expected it to be high 80s, right? So nobody really knew that Baldur's Gate was going to have this giant success. Not even people internally at Larian. I mean, they came out and said that the way Baldur's Gate 3 is performing, they never anticipated it. It had shot through even their high-end expectations.
Yeah, but that can also be said for was it Elden Ring? That is not a game for the masses. But guess what? It became the game for the masses. So again, if you think about it, there is no tried and true. This is the game that's going to always win. This is the game that's always going to do good, because we've seen that. That was Halo. Halo was always going to do good, and look at what happened. You can always screw it up. But
You
certain
definitely
games
can always screw it up.
Yeah. Certain games can outlive and grow beyond its core demographic. And Elden Ring was one of them. This is going to be another one. So we don't know where this could be, other than great.
There's also the element of Baldur's Gate's based on Dungeons and Dragons 5e, and thanks to COVID, there was a huge uptick in people getting into D&D that weren't already into D&D. So now you have a huge fan base of people, a lot of new people in D&D, and now they're hearing that there's a video game coming out based on 5e. That's going to bring a lot more people into it that never would even paid any mind to it before COVID. So that's also a factor.
Oh yeah,
there was a huge growth for D&D during that time.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I think another contributing factor to the growth of Dungeons and Dragons in itself was Stranger Things. Stranger Things is essentially a Dungeons and Dragons story.
COVID pushed the nerdum factor.
It did
in all pop culture. Just pushed it everywhere. So like all the different places that we've mentioned, and then some. It's pushed it into the forefront. So people that normally wouldn't play games were playing games. People that normally wouldn't be playing board games were playing board games too. Board games have jumped up in popularity. Yes. So there's many different facets of nerdom. I guess you would say nerdom that has become popular. I mean, we've talked about Star Wars, Star Trek, this and that. Everything is that was nerds back when in our day is now popular. This is just another smaller niche of nerdom that has become popular and exploded. And it's good to see that.
Being a gamer is so popular right now. Before, and I don't think it's changed any. The nerds are still the nerds. The jocks are still the jocks.
No. There's more.
But I think the fact that gaming has exploded the way it has an effect on it. But I don't know, man. Who knows why Baldur's Gate is doing so great? But I don't think Starfield and Baldur's Gate having a similar console release date is really gonna affect either one. People who are into Bethesda RPGs will continue being Bethesda RPG guys. People who are Dungeons and Dragons people who are new to CRPGs will continue to be CRPG guys. I think the big reason for CRPG though is that very, very, very few true CRPGs exist. I mean, there was Divinity Original Sin 2 and Wasteland 3 that I know of. And now Baldur's Gate 3. And I mean, Wasteland 3 was what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? So it is, you know, people are clamoring for CRPG, you know, good CRPG content, those who are into it. So I think when something like Baldur's Gate comes in, even if you got out of gaming, you got back into it because that thing can run on an AMD FX chip, you know, which is not very popular, which is not very powerful on the computer. So yeah, I mean, it just
You just proved my point.
Yeah, but it still has a dedicated graphics card. So yeah, it's just one of those fantastic places to be right now is a CRPG fan. And shout out to Cyber Gunter. He joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. And let's see. People are talking that Xbox won't even have a console come next time, that they're going to be a cloud company. Yeah, the U.S. infrastructure, the way the U.S. does it, we will always lag behind other countries in internet infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, you know, I think Jason Max says PlayStation players are pushing Baldur's Gate 3 for console war reasons. They are pushing it for console war reasons, but I also think it's good that they have a counterpart to launch with it. You know, what was it? Phil spent the big reason Rise of the Tomb Raider was exclusive to the Xbox was because Phil had nothing to counter Uncharted, so he secured Rise to counter it. You know, the fact that this one kind of got de facto secured for PlayStation is weird, but hey, it is what it is, right? So yeah, that's all I have. But anything else on this topic, guys? Because I think we're ready to move on. I think we've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Jason Max, I know what you said, but I'm not going to repeat it. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I still appreciate your input, Jason. Let's see. Let's move it along. Terry, are you ready?
Yeah, he is.
All right, here we go.
All right, everybody, we are finally moving on. No more split screen talk. All right, we are going to have a game. The game that I chose today, I chose for some specific reasons. One, because it's kind of a topic that we're going to get into later today, as well as we were ready to spend a whole bunch of time talking about RPGs, so we might as well, feature an RPG for the showcase today, as well as I wanted to feature it because of the news that comes today. There's some pretty huge sales going on right now from the publisher themselves, so you can get this game super cheap. So I wanted you guys to get a hold of it if you haven't played it before the sale runs out in like 8 days. So without further ado, I give you a classic action RPG, Titan Quest. All right, so let me go ahead and show you Titan Quest.
Rated T for teen.
Okay, so I wanted to show this. Hold on, I gotta cancel my autoplay. Okay, so I wanted to show this because we are going to be discussing, the THQ Showcase here in a little bit. But so this game right now, THQ has a huge publisher sale going on right now, and so you can go ahead if you haven't had a chance to play this game or pick it up. You can get it really, really cheap right now. The classic game of Titan Quest is a $30 game normally, but you can get it on Xbox right now for $7.50. All right, so go ahead and get that. And the 2 DLC expansions that are available on Xbox are normally $20 a piece. You can get those for $5 each right now. So this is the time to pick up this game if it's been on your, your wish list for the last decade plus. So go ahead and grab it. I also want to mention for those of you that are primarily PC gamers, if you get the anniversary version on Steam, you can actually pick that up for $5. So the anniversary edition is the base game, and it comes with one of the DLCs included in that. So you can get that whole package for $5 on Steam right now. Also, Titan Quest. Oh my gosh! So this game, unlike Diablo, which gives you 4 or 5 classes to choose from, and then over time they slowly add more. But they always give you a small choice to choose from. Titan Quest, you have masteries and you can jump around and do all kinds of. You can have 30 plus different combinations you could make for your character, so you can have a lot more variety for building. So you can have a lot more fun with that. Now the original game came out back in 2006, and it was developed by Iron Lore, which doesn't exist anymore. And then later on, THQ had Black Forest make the anniversary edition back in 2018, which allowed us to get these games on Xbox One and now on our backwards compatibility and stuff with the series consoles. So you can go ahead and you can check those out. But one of the great things about it that I wanted to bring up was the fact that this game, think about it, came out back in 2006, and it had 2 to 6 player online co-op back then. Come on, that's freaking amazing. Games today, it's hard to find games today that have 2 to 6 player co-op, let alone back in 2006. So you got to applaud that ingenuity back then. So go ahead, check this out, get it on sale, and go ahead and have some fun.
Amazing. But was it split screen co-op?
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Great indie spotlight.
If I put a piece of tape in between this, right in the center of the screen, there you go.
That's all I gotta do. Split screen, yeah.
You know what though? I gotta say, this was a good choice because I did buy this, and it's a great game. Thanks for the info because I didn't buy the expansions because they cost so much, but I'm buying them right now. I'm literally buying them right now.
Terry is always making you spend money, guys. Making you spend money.
But no, again, it's a great game, and obviously we'll be talking about the 2 coming up.
Yeah. All right. Fastback. Shout out to Fastback. He says, this podcast is not in split screen, so it should have been delayed. Oh, man.
It looks like split screen to me. 3-player. But...
Dan the Man Cunningham says, I really like Baldur's Gate 2 Dark Alliance on the X360. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started, man. Dark Alliance is my jam. Let's see. Doggy Dog watching your Titan Quest says, I've always been interested in picking this up. Now's the time, Doggy. Now's the time.
It's cheap. You gotta get it.
That's right. Does this have split screen? No. And shout out to Dark Zone who says Titan Quest 2 was shown at the THQ Showcase. It sure was. Let's see. THQ needs to make another Wreckfest. You might get your wish. And they even showed Titan Quest 1 on PC. So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why this isn't showing up. There we go. Sorry, guys. My computer is a streaming potato right now. I'm in talks. I'm getting another one, but it'll be a few weeks before it gets here. All right. So the THQ Nordic Showcase came out. Shout out to Terry for bringing it to our attention, and it had some bangers in there. We're not going to watch trailers, as I said. Right now, my computer's struggling. It's basically going to be like watching slides. I don't know what's going on. It's not my internet. Certainly not my internet. I think it's the computer itself. It's just old. And so we have some great games here that I want to talk about. So, seeing as Terry brought this to our attention, I will let Terry start with which games. First off, okay, how many of these games are you interested in? They showed 12 during the main show. How many are you interested in?
I'm interested in about 5 to 6 of them.
5 to 6?
personally.
Okay.
5 to 6 personally, yeah.
All right. Dreadpool, how many are you interested in?
4 to 5. I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out which ones I'm interested in. I'm actually writing them down so I can kind of like figure it out. So like 4 to 5.
Yeah, I'm interested in about 4 to 5. I'm going to say 4 to 6 because 2 of them are kind of like maybes. But I'm going to go with 4 to 5 because I think I'm going to eliminate one. But yeah, 45 for me as well. So let's see what we got. Terry, we'll let you start us off. Which game
Alright.
or games do you want to talk about?
All right, I'll go through the ones that I'm excited for, and I'll try to pick ones that I know are less likely to be picks from you guys first.
No. Just pick what you want. It's okay if we pick the same
Yeah,
thing.
we're doing it. We're doing it that way.
Yeah, just pick what you want.
So I'll start off with Way of the Hunter. Now, I love Way of the Hunter. As you see, I have it right here. I'm really enjoying this game. It's a lot of fun. And they did show off the new DLC. So I just want to get this out of the way because it's just DLC. Like, whoop-de-doo, but it's DLC. And Way of the Hunter's awesome. So if you like, hunting-based games, this is a good one. I really enjoy this one. There hasn't been a really good hunting game in a while. Like, usually Cabela's is the one that makes like the better ones, but those games have gotten pretty crappy over the last couple of generations. So I'm happy that THQ brought us Way of the Hunter because this game is greatness. All right, so go ahead and pick that one up if you haven't done so already. All right, great game. So I am excited for that DLC.
All right.
Otherwise, I'll bring up Trine 5 because I have on multiple occasions talked about Trine, and I even showed off some of the games that I showed off the Trine series as well as the spin-off games as games for my indie showcase in past episodes because they're that good. All right, They're that freaking good. So if you have never played any of the Trine games, you are missing out. Like they're phenomenal games. They're puzzle. It's a side-scrolling action puzzle game, and it's built around co-op, so you can have more than one person play with you, and you take control of different characters that have their own play set and skills to try to get through the level. And it's great team building and actually communication. They're fantastic games. I highly recommend the Trine series, made by Frozen. Frozen Byte is the one that makes the Trine games, and THQ is just the publisher. So for Frozen Byte's glorious vision, and that is Trine. So fantastic, gotta play it. But what else is on the list? Let's see here. Gothic. On the fence with because I haven't now. Gothic isn't anything new. Like they've have a bunch of those out, so I'm trying to figure out what this one is. Like, are they doing like a reimagining? Or are they restarting like a reboot? Or like I don't really know what's going on with this Gothic. It's already Gothic. So what is this one? You know what I mean? So I don't know. So that's I'm kind of on the fence with that. We'll have to see what that is about. So Dark Zone thinks it's a remake. It might be a remake. I don't know. But I mean, I kind of want to know more about it. The trailer that they showed was confusing. You just kind of watched the Steve go around, and then he got his face smashed in because karma caught up to him. So I don't really know what's going on. Are we going to be fighting in the arena? Because they showed an arena that you and stuff. Like I don't really know. I don't really know much about Gothic. I've never played the other ones in that franchise, so I don't know. So that one's on my list, and then. Of course, Titan Quest 2. I got it. That's definitely on my list. I love my RPGs. Action RPGs are definitely my preference. I know not many people are into like the isometric kind of stuff, but yeah, I just like my action RPGs. So I'm looking forward to that. I just picked up the first one. I didn't even know about Titan Quest, honestly. And then they went ahead and they showed off 2, and I'm like, this looks dope. I gotta look up the first one. I looked at the first one, and then now here we are. It's on sale. Get it? I bought it. I'll be playing it, so I can get ready for the second one now that I know about it. So I'm excited. And let's see what else. Of course, Ninja Turtles. Got him. With
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
a huge TMNT fan. So I got to play that. I'm looking forward to that.
I wouldn't ever know that you're a TMNT fan. I mean, it's not like those posters behind you are
Yeah,
turtles.
it's like who's those handsome chaps back there?
Yeah.
but yeah. So like I love the Turtles. So that one is definitely gonna be like probably a day one for me. Like I'm not usually a day one for many games, but Turtles, as long as they're don't F it up, they'll be a day one for me for sure. So you know
All
what I
right.
mean. And I think that's pretty much the main ones that get my attention. Recreation will be there too. I tried playing Rec Nation on PC when it was brand new, and that game was rough back then. I really couldn't get into it, but they've done a lot with it since then. So maybe I'll try the successor to it, and maybe I can get into that. But otherwise, that's pretty much the main ones that pique my interest.
All right. Great choices, Terry. Fantastic. DREADPOOL. Which ones caught your eye?
No.
Not ready.
Not ready?
All right.
Okay.
No,
I'll go next.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the one that caught my eye, I'm still curious about. But I mean, come on now. Who's not a fan of South Park? So I'm,
Right.
I'm
Me.
so-
Me.
Secretary, who's not a fan of South Park? So I'm curious about more of the gameplay. I speed watched it, so I didn't get a chance to really get into it that much. So, but again, it's South Park. It's almost one of those games that you kind of have to buy just to have it in your collection. So and still enjoy it, right? And then I'm gonna go down to Titan Quest. Obviously, we already know I love the first one. And I'm downloading right now. I just bought the 2 expansions, so that's good to go. And then I have a toss up between the 2 that I absolutely have to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for my questionable one. The questionable one is the Space for Sale. That one there is kind of I'm curious about it. It looks fun. It looks like it could be interesting. May or may not like it, may or may not play it. But again, it's caught my eye, so I am interested in it. The other ones did have their own little appeal to them. So Gothic, Outcast, Recreation, they did have their appeal to them, but it just not enough to like. Maybe if they're in Game Pass, I'll check them out. It's just Outcast is like, holy cow, the old, reminiscing, but it just didn't. It's just not enough to be there. So now my main 2, it's like, which one do I want to go with? So, and I know everybody knows this one, so I'll go with the other one, Last Ronin. That looks cool. I love the premise of it. I hate the premise of it. You know what I mean? It's that love-hate relationship because well, that's why you love it, but you hate it because 3 of your turtles died. Spoiler alert. That's as far as we're going, though. But yeah, it's like, why? Why did they do that? But that's part of the story. So to do this is going to be really cool. Because again, yeah, I wouldn't really say it's spoilers, but we'll leave it at that. It's just cool to be the one turtle going on revenge. So it's going to be cool in that aspect. But again, I'm going to have to say my number 1 game, Alone in the Dark. It's an oldie for me. I've been playing those games since the very first one, and hated them because of the controls and the fact of what it was supposed to be, and how back in those days how they couldn't do, and even the remakes were getting better and better, just not good enough. And I think this one here will actually surprise a lot of people. So this Alone in the Dark, I mean, it's also got one of the favorite actors right now, because I mean, come on, Stranger Things. He was I forgot the Russian's name in Black Widow. He was their dad.
Yeah. What is it, Captain Russia or whatever he
something
is?
like that. Yeah. So I mean, this guy is a great actor, and so watching him here, actually get involved in the game and seeing how much more games are involving that piqued his interest and got him interested in doing this. So it was like, oh, cool. The excitement of him doing this, it made it that much more exciting for me. So,
Oh shoot, he's in the Gran Turismo movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? You can't win them all, but but still, no.
He was Alexi in Black Widow.
Yeah,
but what's the name of the hero's name?
I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. I'm not going to look it up right now. I'm still busy.
Yeah.
Trying to get my game to download that I just paid for, or the expansion to download that I just paid for. But again, these kind of games are interesting. I love first person when it comes to horror, but some of these games have gotten beyond. I don't like the camera view, or you got to turn on the camera, you got to go this, you got to take a picture, I don't like that back and forth stuff.
I hate forced photography in video
right?
games. I hate it so much.
It just give it to me like fear, you know what I mean? Just let Alma mine F you and go from there. Red Guardian, thank you. I see it now. But yeah, it's just, again, it's like, oh man, when you have a cinematic story, I can handle that. Like Blair Witch wasn't a bad game. I liked it, but I couldn't handle it because, again, I don't like those movies. I'm not a fan of those movies. But it did have a good premise. I just hated running around the woods trying to figure out where the limits are that you can go to. And then, okay, how did I end up in this section? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like a clear cut, okay, here's a path that I can kind of rummage through, But when you play Alan Wake, again, great games, So, and I have a feeling it'll be kind of like that feeling, but yet not. It's because it's its own game. So I love the mystery of it. I love the storyline. And just kind of going from there. So just don't give me those forced photography perspectives. And, you can only see the ghost when you take out the camera and then take a picture and then figure out, oh, I should have ran because now I'm dead. I don't like that stuff.
So your wife was right on Friday night that you'd be the first one to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great picks from Dreadful. Great picks from Terry. Let's see. Chair Walker says David Harbour. Yes, him. He's all over the place right now. He's so hot right now.
Have you seen Silent Night?
No. Silent Night, the
Christmas
Santa Claus
movie
Lane one.
Yeah, he's Santa Claus there. Oh my God, another classic to watch every Christmas now, at least in my house.
My wife and I have been avoiding it, but I think I might have to see it now.
You need to see it. If my wife hasn't convinced you from the Iconic Video Games podcast, I'm going to convince you here. This is definitely a good movie to watch.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, my turn. So, kind of from least hype to most hyped, if you will. So I like Outcast, and you beginning. The premise to it seems really cool to me. The fact that you can influence the environment to get bigger monsters to fight the I don't know, the invaders as they call it. It kind of has that Avatar-esque feel to it, but a little more gothic-y, or not gothic, a little more gaudy, like like you directly control the environment. So that one is on there. Tempest Rising really got to me because it's a real-time strategy game, and I am a real-time strategy fan. I love my StarCraft, my Command and Conquers, my Dune, Battle for Arrakis stuff. I mean, I am really into real-time strategy. I played Supreme Commander. I played Total Annihilation. I mean, it's an Axel game, as everybody said when they saw it. That's the first thing they said. Is like, oh, that's an Axel game. Titan Quest 2, I wasn't into it, but now that I saw the trailer, I'm a little more interested in it. So I might check it out because I didn't know what Titan Quest was about. So yeah. And Princess Zelda agrees with Dreadpool. Silent Night was great. David Harper and Alone in the Dark really is the sell for me, but I think I'm gonna end up skipping it unless it gets like a 90 meta. Then the FOMO will hit and I'll get it.
I'll convince
Last
you.
Train Home definitely piqued my interest because it looks a lot like an XCOM game where you're traveling and facing new enemies, and it's a tactical RPG. And of course, if you know me, if you can see behind me, I am into trains. So here's my Texas special. So the fact that the game is coming out in a genre I like with trains, I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. And I love that it says Last Train Home. So that one's also great. But the big one, the big one for me is obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. The trailer was phenomenal with 3 of the 4 candles extinguishing, and the fact that it's based on a dark novelization of the Ninja Turtles. As you said, you hate it, but you love it, and it has it just looks fantastic. But yeah, those are the games I'm interested in. So how many did I go through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. And of course, the big fly is going to be trying 5 mainly because I haven't tried the first tries. But now, I mean, Terry's been talking them up so much. And if you get to the 5th entry, you must be good.
I'm telling you, play with your wife. You'll have some fun. It's so good.
I was going to say, maybe if you get to the 5th entry, you're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. And shout out here to RWK88. Axel, man, my grandma got me Lionel sets and trains when I was a kid. I still have them all. Yeah, this is actually a Lionel train right here. And you can tell because it has the 3rd rail contact. So yeah, this one was given to me by a very nice lady on Facebook. She wanted to get rid of it and couldn't find someone that would appreciate it. And I told her I would. So she gave it to me. It was black when she gave it to me from gathering dust and soot. And I cleaned it up real nice. I opened up the engine, maintenance deck, got it moving again. All that good stuff that you got to do to keep trains in good working order. Model trains, right? And Princess Zelda, shout out to Princess Zelda. I love space and train. I love trains and space. Yeah. Yeah. So it is that. Guys, let us know which ones you like. But let's see. Where did the chat land? How many games did they like, Terry?
All right, looks like 83% are within the 1 to 4 range, and 16% within 5 to 8.
Oh, there you go. RWK. Nice. Now I work for the road and I hate trains. Oh, you know, RWKD, if you want someone to take care of those trains, those Lionel trains for you, I would greatly appreciate them. Send me a DM. We'll talk. We'll negotiate.
Like the trains remind me of a story. Like my grandfather collected trains, and like the entire basement of his house, he had a huge setup. And like you would have to crawl under the table to get in the middle, and he had a whole city, and it was amazing. And like I freaking loved it the entire time I was a kid. And then come to adulthood now that he's much older. He decided to pass on his trains and split them up between all the grandkids. And there's a lot of grandkids, let me tell you. And like my grandmother, she collected the like village houses, for like your Christmas setup, like the village houses.
Yes.
So
the Christmas village.
So she collected the village houses. So like she gave out houses to all the girls, and Grandpa gave trains out to all the boys. And I coveted those freaking trains, and I didn't get one, so I'm still ticked.
Cause you're a girl, you get a house.
I get a house. I wanted the day train. I'm so mad.
So funny. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. He had a layout. Yeah, it's called a layout, Terry. This is why you didn't get a train set. You don't even know what it's called.
Pretty sure all of his grandsons sold their train. So I mean,
they probably did. Once you give a gift away, you can't really say what to do with it. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't concern yourself about it. She's still upset about it. Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, guys, let's see. Do we have any time for any of the quick bits? No, we've been on 2 hours. Oh, what were the quick bits? I totally forgot. Here. Quick bits were... Oh, yeah. Killer Instinct is getting the 10th anniversary. Are you excited, Dreadpool?
Yes. They need to do that game right, and it's good to see the old studio come back and work on it. I think it's also anticipation for a possible, and I even put it on Twitter or X, whatever. Twitter's still the same difference.
Mm-hmm.
I put on there, maybe this will lead to a Killer Instinct 2. Then again, they could also keep it as a platform and add more fighters and more levels. So they don't have to necessarily make a second one. They just keep on adding more downloads to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exciting to see. We're going to get better graphics and hopefully better performance out of this game that will utilize the Series X and S capabilities. So yeah, again, they got to use the tools. But yeah, it's exciting to see. There's a lot of game fans out there that are hyped to see this come back.
Yeah. And don't forget that guy who did the announcement. He was called head of Killer Instinct. You don't make someone the head of something unless you're planning a sequel. So a lot of us are very happy that we might get a continuation, a sequel. Terry, Killer Instinct getting that 10th anniversary. Are you excited?
Personally, no, but I am excited for the community because it is a fantastic fighting game and it definitely needs it. It's not anything that I'm personally going to play.
All right. Well, there you go. I played Killer Instinct. Of course, I'm playing. Oh Jesus, what's the wolf's name? Why am I drawing a blank?
Saberwolf.
Saberwolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Saberwolf. And because I love dogs, I love wolves. So of course he's my main. So yeah, that's gonna be. I'm excited for that. I want to check it out someday. Maybe Doggy Dog can take me to school, do an ultra combo on me because I will suck, but we'll see. So yeah. And shout out to Kilo Milo for joining us. Thank you so much. You are the real MVP. Another news, Special Nick on the Xbox Era podcast teased that he has heard some leaks that a digital Xbox Series X is in the works. So a digital only Xbox Series X. Price point might be around $450 in the US, $500 everywhere else. Do you think this is needed here, Terry?
I don't know. I feel like people bought the Series X because they wanted the most powerful option, but I feel like they also wanted to have the disk drive. Like that was the big sell for me, is it had the disk drive. This way, my backwards compatible games that I have physical copies for, I can still play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like most people do play digitally though. So if they opted for the S, they might want more power. So this gives them that option to upgrade. But I mean, you can still upgrade even without it. You don't have to use the disk drive. So I don't know. I feel like it's not really needed.
But do you think the price point will convince more people to get an Xbox?
I think
especially because some people want the power of the X.
They do, but I feel like if you want the power of the X, then just buy the X. Like, why does it need to be without the disk drive? I feel like that kind of will hurt sales for the S because that's its whole thing. Is if you don't want to have the need for it and you don't care about all the T-flops, they go and get the S. So I think it's going to hurt sales for the S. Honestly.
Yeah. Dreadpool S.
All right. So we're talking about a disc-less X. I see it plausible.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But if you look at the internals, I mean, if you look at right now how the X is, right? It is compact enough, and it is basically one of those what is it? The fire stoves, you know what I'm talking about? Where they basically it is like the prime heat extruder, if you think about it,
Yeah.
because it's bringing in air from everywhere, bringing it from the bottom of the base and from the back to allow it to cool. And that one fan is just sucking everything through and out. Okay. So when you look at the Series X and you see what has the you look at the internals and you look at how much space just the CD drive is doing, and it's not taking up that much space,
right?
So I'm just trying to picture how it would look without this. I mean, there's not that much space when you look at it that it's taking up. So pulling it out, okay, so what is that going to do? It's just going to open up more open airspace, right? So are they going to do like PlayStation, where it's $100 difference for the disk drive that's only like $20-$30? I mean, that was the only reason why I went with the extra money on the PlayStation 5, is because I wanted the option and opportunity, if I had a disc, whatever it was, to be able to put in there and play, that it could play. But when you look at it, I don't think that they would necessarily do that. And usually if you're going to promote top of the line, you're going to promote top of the line, which has all the bells and whistles, which is why it has more RAM, more of this, more of that, more power, even though it's slightly faster speed. And with them coming up with the Carbon is basically the next halfway point without actually being that piece. So yes, they are pushing out the S. They are bringing up the next S, which is the Carbon version. So maybe that is just going to be the digital version that people are thinking, and maybe because of again, people are going that route. I mean, eventually everything's going to go digital, because who's playing CDs now to listen to music? Cars don't come with CD players anymore, right? They're coming with your Bluetooth. Yeah, your Bluetooth connects. Yeah. Well, they don't have aux ports anymore. They have USB ports to connect to your phones or your iPods. So again, they're migrating away. So is it possible? Yeah. I just don't see them doing that when they did it with the Carbon version. They have the S version that's already like that. It's just, I can't picture it without it. That was kind of part of the whole thing, to be able to watch the 4K movies, because obviously gaming wise, there is no necessity. Everything I'm buying is digital now. Yes, I have some of the older games from BC. So other than backwards compatibility for gaming, that's it. I mean, if I could buy those games digitally, I would. Again, I was even trying to turn in my old discs so I can get the digital code. And when I went to the Microsoft store, even their own employees didn't know that they were offering that service for that limited time. I was trying to turn in games to convert them to digital, and they didn't even know it. Their own people in their own store didn't even know it. But again, if you're going to be promoting this, that was the bane for a lot of people that bought S's, because they're like, I've got this huge 360 library that the majority of them I can play back BC, and I've got the OG Xbox library also. Pretty much a lot of the collectors have complete libraries for the OG, and they're like, I can't play anything because it's all BC, but none of it is playable because I don't have a disc.
You got to buy it again.
Yes, and you can't buy some of these games. That's why the whole ABK thing was like exciting, because people were able to purchase some of these games again, or again play online with some of these games. Call of Duty, Cough, cough.
All right. I think the digital Xbox Series X is kind of a moot point at this level. I don't think they should pursue it personally. I see no reason for it to exist. If the Series S didn't exist, then yeah, I could see this one being a viable option. But because the Series S exists at a much lower price point, I don't think anyone's going to buy the all digital X. In my opinion, it's not going to sell enough to justify casting a new cover to remove the disk drive. That's just my opinion. And there's lots of benefits to having the disc, as Dreadpool just went through, especially for us older gamers and maybe some younger gamers who are interested in history, such as Tiny Giant. So yeah, there's I just don't see why it exists. That's my opinion.
Yeah, she still pops in discs.
Yeah,
she's still popping in discs to watch and play.
Yeah, like I said, but not very many people are like Tiny Giant.
No.
So yeah, she's one of a kind. But Doggy, if I did join your fight night, I want you to know this would be me. Can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
This would be me, Doggy, if I joined your fight night. Right here. I would be Neo. I would just keep spamming the same move.
Yeah, I love this one.
I love that it goes in for headbutts and they substitute the. This would 100 be me, Doggy. 100. Even with the kicks. Like the old sweep on the Mortal Kombat. So there you go, Doggy. That's why I don't play fighting games, is because I would just spam the same move. All right. With that being said, guys, I think we're going to get out of here. That's going to do it for the show today. Again, guys, I want to say a shout out to the MVP chat. Guys, we wouldn't be able to have this show without you guys, the chat. And that's why you guys, the chat, will always be the MVP to any of the shows here on the Iconic Video Games channel. Have yourself a great Sunday, guys. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm Maxwell1324.
I'm CoolCatTerri.
And Dreadpool's muted. So,
hey, there I am. All right. Sorry about that. So, yes, and I'm your resident guest, Dreadpool.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you next week.